Hey there, it's Diana Delapo, Quick Contour. We are going to do beginner Seint 3D highlight and contouring. I'm going to be using a palette 12 today. This holds 6 tins on each level. You may have just started with a palette 4, the basics, that's fine. Contour, main highlight, brightening highlight, and a lip and cheek color. If you needed a color corrector, then you probably had to go to the double size of that. Holds 8. You can add a bronzer, got room for other things as well. But I always tend to go with the 12. It's a great starter size. That way you can get everything you need and still have room to add just a few lip and cheek colors. So down the road, if you want to add a different tone, different color, then you've got space for it all in one spot. So in this palette today, we have a color corrector, we have a contour, main highlight, brightening highlight. I've got 2 bronzers side by side because the bronzer brush is so big. I like to just have 2 of them. It just means it's going to be twice as long before I have to replace any. I've also got lip and cheek. I've got 3 different options here. And today I'll probably, I don't know which one I'll choose yet. An illuminator, setting powder, and a couple eyeshadows. So let's get this started. Always starting with that color corrector. This for me is this darkest shade, and I'm using my lightest application brush, and I'm just gonna wash that in areas, so very, very light, where I have redness, which is around my nose, my chin, and then corners of my eyes where it's dark. And all of this is doing is kind of bringing the color down a notch. Okay, ensuring that I don't have too much on. I'm just going to use that damp perfector, especially if you're going to be doing a lot under the eyes. If you've got some dark circles and you need to correct in there, you definitely want to use that perfector just to make sure there's not too much. Sorry. Okay, my next step I like to do is contour. So all these colors are going to be placed in certain areas on your face and then blended together to make your 3D foundation. So it's not like traditional liquid powder foundation where you put it all on first, then we contour, then we highlight, then we put blush on top. So you end up with all that layering, and that's what gives you that heavy, cakey look. It's not great for mature skin. So all these are going to go in place, and then we're going to blend. So I'm using now the detail brush. It's great for contouring. I'm going to load the corner edge into my contour, and all I'm doing is tapping it in. I'm not swiping and grabbing product. So you can see how it's kind of loaded up just on one corner there. I'm going to start up by the top of my ear, finding my cheekbone where it starts to curl downward, and just pushing that up and into my cheekbone. Okay, I'm gonna do that again on the other side. A few taps and up. I'm only gonna bring that to about the outsides of my eyes. I don't wanna come in really narrow. It's gonna draw your face down, and you don't wanna come down too deep into your hollows of your cheek. Okay, so this is on an angle from the top of your ear down to your corner of your mouth. I'm gonna dab in again and go across my forehead. Sorry, you couldn't see that. So now I am using more of the whole surface area of the brush just because it's a larger area. And depending on your face shape, I can help you out this too. When I do your color match, I'll be sending you back a diagram of placement for your contour, depending on your face shape. But ideally what we're doing is coming down to where our forehead starts to level off. So if you have a very low forehead, you may not even need to contour your forehead. I have these deep spots, and I'm going to darken up. And then I'm also going to do my jawline. So if you're very square in the jaw, where you can diminish that hard edge there, what I've got is this pointy chin. So I am going to bring it up onto my chin a little bit whereas everywhere else it's going to be under my jawline and pulling down and back. So this is creating more of a shadow that would naturally happen there. So kind of curving it out a bit more back here and blending downward. And then to diminish the point on this chin, I'm going to bring it just forward a little bit. Okay, you don't want to come too far up on your face, otherwise it's going to look like you have a beard. Probably go in a bit, and now I'll do my nose now while I'm here. So 2 options for contouring your nose, or you may not contour your nose. It's all up to you. Again, loading just the corner of this brush, so not the whole thing. And one way to do this is just doing a stripe down that side. So what I'm doing is right on the top side of my nose. So I'm not going right on the sides, otherwise that's going to make your nose look larger. So I'm going to do 2 lines. You can do that flat long end or the smaller end. Or you can even take a much smaller brush. This one is the smudge, like so. Okay. What's left, I'm going to just put a bit under my lower lip, just to provide some fullness. So I've used my color corrector and my contour. For beginner sake right now, I'm going to go in and do my cheek color to remove that area of my face. Then I'm going to brighten, and then I'll put on last my main highlight, just so that you can see where everything goes at the end. So I think today I am going to use maybe a combination of these 2. Why not? We can dab once into each. Okay, not a lot of product there. This is going to go just above that contour line. So we're kind of bringing it to where the irises of your eyes, when you're looking straight ahead and back. We don't want to come right into the apples of our cheeks, particularly when you're over the age of 40, 50. We're not 20 anymore. We don't want that little rounds of our cheeks blushed up. So I might have to come back and touch that up a bit more. What happens is once I'm dabbing and pouncing on my cheeks, I'm drawing the redness, the blood, to the surface of my skin, so it looks kind of vibrant, but when I go and finish up my makeup, I'll look like, where's my blush? So top it up again at the end. So I've gone contour, blush. Now, next place I'm going to brighten is right down the center of my face and under my eyes, and then that leaves the rest of my face for main highlight. So brightening highlight is the lightest one. This one's going to be my main highlight. I like the blend brush for this. It's a light application. I just really like the way it works. You can go back to the contour detail brush, placing it where it needs to be. Nothing wrong with that. You can still use your blush brush. Okay. I'm actually trying a different color today. This one's Aura. I usually use Candlelit, but you can vary 2, 3, even 4 shades in your highlights. What I indicate is a great starting point. And then from there, if you want, you can always go a little darker, a little lighter, and that depends too on how much sun you get. So all I'm doing is placing this where light hits your face and brightens you naturally. So that's just right down the center of my face. And now I'm going to brighten up under my eyes. You know what? Let's go ahead and put some on our eyes too. We're going to do eyeshadow with our palette that we have here. So I'm just using that lightest color to even out the lids of my eyes. Why don't we do the eyes now? Usually when I'm doing full eyeshadow, I do start with my eyes. That way if any fallout happens, then I can clean it up with my brightener, which I'm working on now. So I have just 2 shades in here. That's all you really need. I've already put that lightest highlight on as my base coat. So the lightest color I'm just going to take to my eyelid and up on the arch. Nothing fancy, nothing shimmery today. 2 colors, a light and a dark. I'm going to flip the brush around to the more dense side, go into the darker color, and put that in the crease. Bring it down into a V. And because I have a hooded eye, that crease color sort of disappears. So I'm going to take that just a little bit higher with my eye open and sweeping it across. Like that. And you can take this as dark as you want. I also like to take it under. So I'm not going to be wearing eyeliner. Same thing on the other side. Oh, I didn't do the brightener yet. It's okay. No wrong or right order to makeup. This is just fun. And again, bringing it a little bit higher than the crease with my eye open so that we see some of that color. Okay, so now if anything's fallen down onto my cheek, especially if I was using anything shimmery, the brightening will get rid of that. So into my brightening, I'm just going to dab once, placing that into the inner corner, both sides, and outer corner. I'm going to sweep up a little bit to clean up that eye makeup, and then we can blend those together. I can wait till the end to blend or take care of that now. Okay, so I haven't completely blended yet, but we have an empty spot between where the brightener and the contour went. We've got an empty spot here, a little bit into the sides of your nose, and that is what's left for your main highlight, which mostly matches, which closely matches your skin tone. All right, you can use that same blend brush. This would be for light application. You can go to the iiiD brush, which is a more medium application, and I could have done my highlight with this. I could have done my contour with this. So all these brushes are multi-purpose. I think today I will go with that iiiD brush. So again, just tapping a few times, loading up the brush, not a ton. Oh, it's a little bit more than I normally would, but I'll just move that around. And at this point, I am blending a little bit and placing. So this is kind of bringing everything together now. Right down the center here. And then I can go in with that perfector, blending it all together, getting rid of any of my excess. Already I can see I need more lip and cheek. So let me go back in with a little more color. for my cheeks. I might even darken up the contour. And really, when I'm not chatting and describing what I'm doing, this goes pretty quickly, usually 6 minutes. And I've got all this standard makeup on. If I do eyeshadow, we're into an additional 4 or 5 minutes. Eyes seem to take a lot more time. A little bit more brightener. And one last blend. Let me just take care of that. Okay. So those are our 4 basic colors. Actually, I did color corrector first, but you would just skip that step if you didn't need it. So you can see how I've got some brightening down the front of my face. I've got some shadows created where I need a bit of color, and then my coverage with my main highlight. So if you have a very white neck like I do, you can kind of see how my chest is a warmer color, my face is done, and I've got kind of this blank on my neck. This is where bronzer is great. And this is why I like 2 side by side, just because that brush is so big. So again, I didn't swipe into it, have a little bit on there, and I'm just gonna warm up my neck. It's also nice to even out some of the splotchiness on my chest. And then taking it where the sun hits. And this is kind of the line where your contour and your highlight light met. Same thing where your contour and your blush met. So this helps to blend as well, but gives you that warm, sun-kissed glow. All right. And again, feeling if there's any stickiness that would indicate that there's too much product on. You can always use the perfector between each step. You can also put all this on just with your finger or with small brush, just placing where it all needs to be and then blend it all. So next I'm gonna add an illuminator. Easiest way to do this is with your finger. Let me just check out the contour on my nose. Sometimes I blend that out a little too much, but I think we're just gonna leave it like that today. Okay, so with the illuminator, my favorite place to place this is on my Cupid's bow. So this is just a shimmer, a light reflecting glow. So it's not sparkly and glittery, just has a luminescent quality to it. You can do your cheekbones. I don't always do my cheekbones. My favorite spot, I always do my Cupid's bow, even above the eyes. Just a bit of highlight, eyebrows, I should say. Okay. So another thing we can use this 3D for is lining our lips and eyebrows. So for eyebrows, I'm going to use a line pencil. This is just a spoolie on one end to brush the brows up and into place. I don't have a brow wax in here. If I had that, I would wet the brow wax with a little setting spray. Dipping this into my contour. And I'm just going, actually I have a mirror right in this compact. Just tracing the bottom line of my brow and filling it in up to the arch and down to the tail. As we get older, those brows start to get sparse, might even tend to get a little light. Also, if you're very blonde, you're gonna deepen the color on those brows. Usually your contour color best suits your brow color. However, sometimes you might want to go a bit darker, more ashy, so you can always have a second contour as well. So without going into too much detail, that's good enough. This brow always gives me trouble, but I'm just going to leave it at that for today. So that contour again can be used as a lip liner. And it's not like in the 80s where we drew a dark line around our lips. I know I said contour, and contour is dark, but what we're doing is creating a shadow to make the lips look more full. So I'm drawing just at the lip line and blending it past the lip line. And that's just giving it some fullness. So from here I could go in with When My Lip and Cheeks, put that on. This palette doesn't have it. A lip conditioner is really nice. And I'm just gonna use one of these lip crayons today. You can mix your own current makeup with what you've got in your Seint palette. It's all cream. Blend together. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of illuminator on top of lipstick today. And maybe just a bit of my lip and cheek color. Okay. Final step here, I'm going to set under my eyes with my setting powder. You can use any setting powder, like a loose powder is fine, but when I travel, I like to keep it in my compact, and using the powder brush for that. I don't know where it went. I'm gonna use my older style, so color's just a little bit different. Same brush, so it fits perfectly on this tile. And we just swipe into it, top off any excess, and set under these eyes, because those creams will migrate into those fine lines and wrinkles, okay? You can also set your T-zone if you are oily. So all I need now are my eyelashes, so some mascara. Before I do that, some setting spray. Seint setting spray, great option if you like a dewy finish or if you're dry. I like a matte finish, so I've got a few different options here. And let that dry, and we'll put some mascara on and see how that looks. So there's the finished look with the mascara on. You've got that brightened look under the eyes and just down the center of your face. I've got a shadow around my face where kind of everything recedes. Hollowed out those cheekbones, little blush color, lip color, and nice natural look. Cream makeup just blends flawlessly. It's easiest makeup. If you think it's way too much work, you're not gonna be able to do it. Believe me, it is simple. Cream makeup, like I said, needs a setting spray at the end. I think I mentioned that. It doesn't dry out, so your face is always gonna feel relaxed. It's not gonna feel tight and dry. It's the setting spray is just gonna hold everything in place without drying your face. So you can follow me for more tips, tricks, tutorials on using your Seint makeup, getting into more detail work. It's fun. As you start to use it, you get more confident, you get quicker, and then you start to play more, and you might want to try to add 1 or 2 tips, little tricks along the way, and see what you can do. So follow me on Instagram at Diana Delapo or YouTube here. Just hit subscribe and you'll get updated when new videos come out. Also, my business page on Facebook is Diana Delapo Quick Contour. Thanks.